Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Edson and I wanted to talk about my experience when I had to retake graduate algorithm, and hopefully if you have to retake this course, I will share with you the tips and things that have worked for me and see if I can give you some value and also give you some encouragement, because I know this course is not an easy course. Personally had to retake this course. I took it during the summer with another course, which means the length was really small. Like we had like 12 weeks. And on top of that, I was taking it with another course. So don't do that. So in this video, just share with you things that I have done when I had to retake this course, and hopefully you can get some value. So first thing first, graduate algorithm is not an easy course. It takes a lot of practice and takes a lot of studying to get it right. And for my part, when I had to take that course, we take it. Here are a few things I've done. First, I rewatch all of the lesson, and as if I was doing the course for the first time. So I didn't rely on memory. I actually sat down and actually really watched every video that was on the course material. Like when I was taking it the first time, I did not do that. Sometimes I would skip some course material because I didn't have the time to study for it. But this time I actually watched every course material, and this was really helpful. I think it opened my eyes in this idea that you think you understand something, but when you really sit down and we read it, then you realize how much you did not understand. I think I really had the gap between what I understood and what was really the material. So we watched all of the lesson as if I was taking the course for the first time, and this had really, really, really helped me. Second thing, uh, I did some lead code when I was preparing for exam one. So I did lead code personally is not the right material to study for that course, but the way the course was structured, exam one was very programming intensive because you actually have to code your solution in pseudocode. And having that practice really helped me. If you look at my screen, I wanted to share you my lead code. So as you can see, I did some lead code in the month of August, which is the beginning of the fall semester last year. Most of the question that I did was related to the first portion of the course, which is dynamic programming. So I spent some time to actually solve this in lead code, which has like the house wobber, which is a question where a wobber is trying to wob a house to maximize the amount of money that they can get, and there is a constraint where it cannot wob two consecutive houses, like the maximum length of a repeated subarray, the longest common subsequence. Those are classic dynamic programming problem. So I spent time to actually implement them in LeetCode. You get increasing some sequence, reverse vol. I don't know if this is a LeetCode one. So by doing this LeetCode problem, I was able to build my confidence in dynamic programming. And I would not suggest you to use LeetCode as your main study material, but that's what worked for me. So I did some lead code, for example, mostly dynamic programming. And as I said, lead code is not the best material if you want to do the full course, because I think the first portion of the course we did dynamic programming and did some divide and conquer algorithm. So lead code is also good for this, but I didn't spend time doing lead code. So beside uh, watching all the video, did lead code for the first portion, I did super well on exam one. So if you look at my grade for exam one for that class, I had 55 out of 60. And this is one of the best grade you can get in this class, because trust me, most of the student did. I don't think there's that many students who did that well. A couple probably did 60, but I feel like the lead code preparation on the dynamic programming portion of the course really helped me on the first section of the course. So doing well on exam one really helped me have more confidence in myself. One thing that I've also done when I was taking the course, contrary to before, I would watch the office hours that is held every week after they are being done. So this time around, I actually went live in all of the office hours. And not only did I go live in the office hours, I used Notepad++ to take notes during the office hours, because I think there is value in doing that. Even though I did not have to reuse these notes. I mean, I will use them when I have to study for exam, but they were really helpful for me when I had to review for exam. If you look at the screen, you can see an example. For example, so that's office hours number 6. You can see they talk about graduate algorithm. They mentioned about the project, right? And then we went about some example that the CA solved. So I actually write everything that is said, even though I know it. I think the exercise of actually sitting down and actually writing the material, just ingrain it in your head. At least it make it easy for me to ingrain it in my head. So all of the office hours, like you can see, I always have my notes. Office hours number 4, where we talk about Bellman-Ford algorithm, Dijkstra algorithm, Koshal algorithm. So this helped me focus during the office hours. And when it's time for exam, I don't have to go back to the videos. I could just quickly read this note and figure out which portion, which office hour I did to rewatch during the exam if there is a piece that I'm not familiar with. So doing the office hours really helped me. Another thing I did the time I was retaking this class was actually doing the homework. So as you know, in the class, you have homework that are graded and homework that are not graded. I think before I would wait last minute to do the graded homework portion of the homework, but I didn't do the ungraded homework when I was taking it the first time. I didn't do them not because of laziness. It was because I was taking another course, and apparently for this course we have homework every week. In the other course, I also have homework every week. So because of that, I'm always fighting for time. So I didn't spend time doing the ungraded problem. But when we took the course, I have enough time to not only do the graded problem and also did the ungraded problem. Even though I could not do all of them, I couldn't solve all of them, I couldn't do all of them, but I actually review all of them. The one that I didn't have a time to finish, I actually look at the solution and understood the solution. I think this is the important thing. It's being able to understand the solution, because during the exam, you're not going to have enough time to figure out things if you didn't see it before. So this has helped me by doing the homework. I mean, all of the homework, and not only doing all of the homework, actually doing the ungraded homework and look up the solution and try to really understand it and be able to replicate it on your own. So do the extra homework, even the ungraded homework. Extra thing that I have done is I would prepare for the exam by rewatching my notes. This is something I didn't do the first time I was taking the course. Like I said, like if you see my screen, you can see some notes that I took. So those notes was during the office hour. I would sit, I would type, I would pay attention, because the TA would probably have some screen where they say this is what we're going to talk about. It probably will explain things in a way that is easy to understand. So yeah, I did that. My notes are not the best notes, so don't just grab my screen and try to steal my note. They may not make sense to you, because I wrote my note for myself. So yeah, when it's time for exam now, I only have to review the note, and the note would give me a good perspective in what video I need to watch. And also, by paying attention to the office hours, I was able to stay on top of the course, because again, every week you have homework, and every week you have assignment to submit, and being able to stay on top of it by being prepared for the homework, by doing your homework and going to office hour, that really, really, really help. And another thing I did that I didn't mention here is I read the book. So I didn't buy the book. There's a PDF version that is available online, but I would encourage you to buy the book if you are someone who like to read. So I would print it at home, and I would actually read the portion in the book, because there are certain things the book explain. I think the book is very approach approachable. Like it's not as complicated. It's a good read. And sometimes you need to. So if there is a chapter that I'm not quite sure I understand from the lecture, I would definitely read the book. I think one of the complaints that I have for the lecture, the pre-recorded lecture, is that sometimes it's so theoretical. It goes like so, it's so abstract. I think it takes a different type of person to understand this. But the book approach the subject with more details and it give you the time to absorb the material. Other thing I did was to prepare for the exam, not waiting last minute to prepare for the exam and actually start reviewing for the exam way before the exam, at least a week before the exam. I think when I took the course for the first time, I didn't do that. Again, I was taking that course with another course, so I was very crunched for time. So it was really hard for me to be on top of it. So sometimes I would just not wait last minute. Like if you have to prepare for two exams happening the same week, sometimes you have to make the sacrifice. Now I didn't have that constraint, so I start preparing for the exam way before. And the way I prepared for this exam was by reviewing my note consistently, reading the portion of the book that it was not clear to me, going into the office hours. Usually before the exam, there would be an office hour where one of the TA would spend time explaining what we should expect on the exam. And that really helped. So I would focus on the things that I need to focus on and not spending time on things that may not be useful for me on the exam. Another thing that helped was to read Canvas daily. Canvas is our internal tooling that talk about where students can ask questions. So by reading it daily, I was being on top of the course by not only kind of understand where student has some gap in their understanding, but also gave me the opportunity to get extra note. I think during when I was taking the course, the TA would have some notes that would clarify things that is either said in the lecture or things that are important. So I really read everything that was posted. Those are extra material. So whatever extra material, I will make sure that I really, really, really understand what's going on. So you should do the same. You should pay attention to what the TA, you should pay attention to the material that the TA offer. That's pretty much it. I did well on that course. I have to tell you that this is not an easy course. Sometime where most of the program I was able to navigate it very easy. I mean, not very easy. It takes a lot of effort, but because most of the program was about programming and things, and I'm already working as an engineer, so it wasn't hard for me to navigate to it. But this course is really different. Okay, so one thing I have to understand is the program require a lot of sacrifice, but it was easy for me to navigate it. But what was different in this specific course, it was not focused on your ability to write code. It was mostly focused on your ability to understand theoretical computer science. And I think that's where the hard part is. It requires a completely different way of thinking and a different mindset. It's more like math. I'm not talking about arithmetic. I'm talking about proof, right? Like, I didn't do that in college. Like, if you don't have a strong background of proof and understand legma, understanding all of these math, it takes. This is not things you do in industry. In the industry, you don't go and try to prove something. You build stuff. I think that's why for some students it's really hard to get it. But once you get it, it just click and stay with you. For example, the last portion of the course, we had to do something called P and NP complete. Now, I don't see this. This makes sense in theory, but in real practice, it does make sense to in practice, but sometimes this is someone else's problem, not mine. All right. I hope the my experience that I just shared with you is gonna be helpful to you and that you can gain some insight and some value. And hopefully, I want to wish you good luck. I know it's not an easy course, and if you're in the middle of the course, you realize that you're not doing great, I would suggest to don't drop the course, finish it, and we take the course. And remember that you have a grade replacement policy at Georgia Tech as a graduate student. So that means you can always go back and switch the grade that you took if you took it for the first time. But try your best to pass it, the class the first time so that you can graduate. Thank you. I hope to see you next time and good luck.